Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alfredina if you're new here. And let's jump right into what I want to talk to you today. So this video is about how to get your kids to listen when you're reading to them. We all have heard how beneficial it is to read to your babies, your toddlers, your children, your kids of all ages. Reading is amazing. It's great for the brain, and it also helps them expand their vocabulary, understand concepts. It helps their minds think, and just it's so great in so many levels. But I find, I don't know if this happens to you, that when I sit down to try to read a book, the least thing that they are doing is just sitting down quietly. Now, I'm gonna give a disclaimer. When my kids had barely any screens, books were just entertaining to them. They loved it, and they were babies, toddlers when I was the most strict. So they would sit there. Like, that was the thing to do. You grabbed a book and they would just sit and listen. And that's normal because watching a movie, watching a show, playing a game is way more entertaining, and it hooks you more than sitting there listening to words on a page. So we're not gonna blame our kids for that. But now that they do have screens and I see that they pull out books a little less than usual. And when I do, I started feeling like they're not paying attention, they're not learning, and that was frustrating me to no end. Now, I homeschool my kids, so there is a portion of the day that's dedicated to reading out loud. So I'll grab a book, usually a chapter book, that's a little bit above their reading level, whatever they're reading at the time, whatever level they're reading at the time, and we just go through it as a family. And it was a lot of, I'll read a page and then they start talking to each other, or they'll start playing, or when somebody's upside down or somebody got kicked, and I'm like, why am I even doing this? And it was so stress inducing for me until I ran across something that somebody said. And it was actually one of the curriculums that I was reading when I was preparing for this year. And she was explaining that kids retain more when they're tinkering and doing things while listening to somebody read to them. It may seem as if they're not paying attention, but they are. So one of the things that we do is either take out blocks and put them on the table. I get something to drink and sit on the couch, and it's a relaxing time. I'm reading from time to time. If they do get distracted and go off in a conversation, if they're talking to each other, I'll be like, remember, this activity is for you guys to listen, and they come right back. And they are so involved in what they're doing that often I feel like, oh, they're not listening. But at the end of the chapter, if I were to ask any questions, they know exactly what I was reading. And the next day, when I pull up the book again and we continue with the next chapter, they know exactly where we left off. They ask me questions throughout the day. They're commenting on this character who did this or that one that did that. So they definitely are really retaining more than I think while I'm doing it. So one of the things that's been a hit, my kids love painting. They love paint of every kind. So I've just been combining that. A moment of art that's not structured. So it's not while we're taking a drawing class or a painting class. None of that. Just I set them up with paint. They choose the 6 colors that they want. They choose a paper and they just freestyle. They are coloring and having a blast while I read to them. And sometimes a chapter goes by, 2-3 chapters go by, and I look at the time and I'm like, okay, we really have to put the paint away and move on to something else to do a lesson. But it's amazing to me because I feel like this last chapter book that we read while we were doing this has been the one that they've spoken about the most. And that is including the fact that we've read chapter books like Charlotte's Web and watched the movie, and they still retain more information now with this book than with that one, which is the last one we did before the one we did now. And it's as simple, I would like to combine the painting because they already know the rules for it. They know not to smear it anywhere, and because they love it. But other things that we've done is playing with Play-Doh, taking out blocks, and just coloring pages with other books. I've printed out coloring pages that go with the book theme, and they love it. That engages them, and I get to read, they get to listen, and it's a good time without yelling. Another thing, and this is for you mamas that may not be homeschooling or don't regularly read to them out loud. Your kids are past the age where you read to them and now they read on their own. A tip for you is sometimes we talk about the importance of teaching our children the Bible and reading the Bible and Bible stories. And once again, they're bouncing off the walls and you really don't know how to capture their attention. It's as simple as going to the store, Dollar Tree, and grabbing some of those books with their Bible stories. And then this book is only for when I read you a Bible story or a chapter of Proverbs or whatever book you're going through with your kiddos. Just do that. Make it something fun that they enjoy doing, and read that. And that's your family worship when your kids are little and they can't sit there for half hour while you pray and sing and do all the things, So have that on the side, even if you're not homeschooling, but your goal is to read the Bible more to them or to read these Bible stories. That's a great tip. And with that, one testimony that someone gave, I don't know if you're familiar with Priscilla Schreier. She was talking about how her parents always did family worship with her and her brothers and her sister. And I'm like, yes, I want to do that. And then she said something that to me was amazing. She said, sometimes you picture that when we say that we were sitting perfectly fine and we're like, yes, mother, and listening to the thing and conversating. She said, no, it didn't look like that. It looked a lot like mom saying, yo, don't hit your sister, get off the bed, get off the table, and, like really correcting the kids. But the information was there. The words were hidden in her heart. And you see that with a woman who grew up to be a messenger for God and a preacher. And that's something I want for my kids. I want them to be adults that love Jesus, that love God, and that love working for the Lord in whatever capacity He has for them. And I know that starts with me in the home, hiding the words of God in their hearts. So if you're having a hard time, maybe your thing is not with reading to them, but with engaging them with the Bible, maybe that's a great tool for you. Take out little things that they can do quietly while you read to them. And even if they don't feel engaged, those words are being stored up. And when they're needed, the Holy Spirit will know where to get them. So enjoy this time. Take it as a bonding time with you and your kids. Grab yourself your favorite drink and just enjoy it while you read to them and they're enjoying it and you're enjoying it. And then have those conversations throughout the day and enjoy how much your kids are just growing and developing. Reading is amazing, and I really hope that this helps you to have a fun and diverse day with your kiddos while you're teaching them. Have a great day. And if you do try it and it works for you, please let me know. I would love to see that. Have a great day. Bye.